Hello, good evening and good welcome, good afternoon, and if you're watching us in the middle of the night, good morning soon. I am Front Row Racing GP. This is Front Row Racing World Championship round 13. It's Singapore Grand Prix time. With me in the commentary box this evening, we've got Front Row Racing RI, also known as Rachel Brooks. How are you this evening, Ray?
I'm very well. How's you? How's your stutter getting on?
It's not too bad. I think I've improved this week. Dare I say it? I deliberately write the words backward to front on the paper now, so that when I read it, it should come out in some sort of normal order. So there we go. And what I'm going to do, Ray, I'm going to crack off straight away with the question of the day, because we are at the Singapore Grand Prix. And Singapore rice noodles are my favourite takeaway. Question of the day is, what is your favourite takeaway? So, Ray, what's yours?
King prawn curry.
Oh, I like that as well. Very nice. Goes very well, king prawn curry and Singapore fried noodles. Very nice together. Right, so cracking on. If anybody wants to comment then for question of the day in the comment section, what is your favourite takeaway? Because mine is Singapore fried rice. Right, so last week we were at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix, and Kev 187 took the win there. So I'm going to quickly run through the race results and the driver and constructor standings. So race results from last week: Kev 187 took pole and took the victory as well. Then we've got Front Row Racing DP in second, Temp Fear third, Jamie James fourth, Dan Evs was fifth, It's Hammer Time was sixth, GT5 King seventh, Jason eighth, Conzo ninth, Mornay 77 in 10th, and Killer Corkin, the last runner, in 11th. Then we had Bartman and Overdy King did not finish, and Joey Finn did not race. Team of the day was Flaming Dragons. Driver of the day was Kev 187, also known as Nico Rosbot. That's his new nickname from now on. So Drivers' Championship standings are as follows. Kev 187 has put himself up onto top spot with 182 points. Temp Fear in second with 176. Front Racing DP is in third with 161. Jamie James 16 in fourth place with 140. Overdyking in fifth place 136. Then there's a bit of a drop down to Conzo in sixth place with 62. GT5 King on 59. Bartman on 50. Dan Evs on 28. Killer Corkin on 25, It's Hammer Time 44 on 20, Yarson on 13, Mornay on 5, Joy Finn on 3, Constructor Standings, Mode Red Mana Marusha on 343, up the line, Scuderia Ferrari on 276, Rising Lads Red Bull Racing 210, Flaming Dragons Mercedes on 204, and then we've got Team Freedom McLaren Honda on 121, Senson Racing Williams on 48, and Landmark Racing Sauber on 8. So then, Ray, down in the pit lane, do we have any news on any of the drivers not being able to attend? Any reservees in?
Yeah, for Yasin we have Mr. Hamilton 44, and we've had notes from race directors. GT5 King has a qualifying ban for causing a race start incident, or collision, sorry, and they also said you don't need to report of missing laps if the driver doesn't finish the race.
Good point, very good point. So quickly going to run through the teams on the screen, who's in what team, and then we're going to crack on to the event. So we've got Dan Evs and Temp Fear in the Flaming Dragons. We've got Bartman and It's Hammer Time 44 in the Rising Lads of Red Bull. Then Senson Racing Williams of Killer Corkin and what should be Mr. Hamilton 44, but it doesn't look like he's in his car. Ray, if you could hang on a minute, is that right? I don't think that is right, is it? He should be in for... Is he in for Jason? He is in for Jason, so that should be where he is, the seat that he's in. Is he in the wrong seat? No. Is he in the lobby, right? Because we should have Mr. Hamilton 44 in the Sensen Racing Williams. And then in the Ferrari...
Send him an invite.
Yep. Yeah, Mr. Hamilton 44 should be in the Williams. So up the line Ferrari of Overdijking and Jamie James. And then we've got Team Freedom of GT5 King and Konzo. Landmark Racing Sauber of Joe Finn and Mornay 77. And then we've got the... Ooh, I wonder if he's had a bit of an issue there then. Because it does say, yep, we're one short of who should be in the lobby. Mana Marusha, sorry, I should say Modred Mana Marusha of Kev 187, the current champion, and Front Racing DP. So let's just have a quick look at the lobby. He did receive an invite earlier on, so we're just going to bear 1 minute just to see if he can get back in. If you can keep an eye on whether he is getting back into his vehicle, back on online, and then we shall know whether it's good to go.
Okay, well done.
We've now got 16 in the lobby, so he should have returned. Let's just have a double check at the bottom. There he is. He is in his Williams, which means we should be good to go. So we can all hit that ready button.
Okay.
Alright then, so predictions, Mr. Rachel Brooks. What do we reckon then for Singapore?
I hope for some alternate weather.
Alternate weather.
Hope for.
Well, one thing we can predict is it'll be dark because it's a night race. One thing we can't predict is the rain, but a lot of practice sessions this week have been in the wet. So it is possible. While we're just waiting for some of these drivers just to realise that we have clicked the button and they can go through to the session, we'll run through some of the drivers' comments. So while we are waiting, Ray, who was it that you managed to get discussions with?
I spoke to Jamie James, and all he had to say, he wants to stay out the barriers and beat his last week's result.
Okay, so that's Jamie James. Now his teammate is Overdijking, who I managed to catch up with, and he basically says after last week that he hopes the Ferrari will not break down on him this time. 46 points is a big gap, but the challenge is accepted, so he's looking to try and close that gap down to, I'm assuming that 46 points gap means him to the top, not to any particular driver, just to him to the top of the table, because that's his target. That's what his target has been. We'll go through some of the drivers as we see them on circuit. Is it going to be dry? Is it going to be wet? If Singapore qualifying, it's raining. It's raining. Now I know there's going to be some drivers that are not going to be happy about that, but there's that possibility. If it's wet now, will it be dry for the race? If it was dry now, there's that possibility it would be wet for the race. And what does your weather forecast say?
Rainfall anticipated from start to finish.
Wow. Well, yeah, mine says very, very similar to that. As we can see on my screen, it says a wet start with a rain likely throughout. And yeah, I mean, that doesn't necessarily, it's not 100% guaranteed. Well, I've just heard actually that the conditions might be improving. The track might be getting a little bit drier. But what we see on the screen there for the weather forecast does not necessarily mean that's what it's going to be like for the race. If we just go and have a look at the delta time on the tyres, because we did just hear one of the pit crew just say that the delta times are dropping. So there we see the times are dropping for the intermediates. It's currently nearly at 4.5 seconds. So I would give it another couple of minutes and we're not going to be far off intermediates, but definitely full wets at the moment. So Ray, if you could every now and again have a look just to see if those intermediates are coming in, and that would be a good benchmark for when the guys should be going out and what we could be seeing when those faster times could be coming. So let's see who is out on track.
Bartman, to any viewers that are messaging, I'm trying to get to the live stream as quickly as possible. I just can't seem to find it.
It is up, it is available, otherwise they wouldn't be mentioning. But yeah, if you can get onto that, Ray, at some point, that'd be good. We're on board with Bartman, so while you're doing that, Ray, I'll just read out some of these comments. We've got Bartman. His comments were, he's just hoping to finish the race. Well, that's a good target, and then take it from there, see where you end up. It's Hammer Time 44 is his teammate, and he had quite a lot to say. Oh, Jamie James has left the session. That's unfortunate. I'm hoping he'll be able to get back in again. I say it's unfortunate because it means if he does get back in, he will be on standard setup of 6.6 wings. So it's Hammer Time 44. It's quite simple for me to outscore the Mercedes for the Constructors' Championship, finish in front of my teammate, and also qualify. Qualifying is very critical at Singapore, and I've been practicing not getting any penalties, as the last 4 or 5 races I've been getting penalties, so I hope to improve on that. And then he later on went on to say, tyre wear is good for me. If it's like that in the race, well, I won't say how many stops he's planning on doing at the moment, because it's not really fair on some of the other guys out there, but if I tell you what, if it's raining, he won't be doing this many stops. So yes, I will mention it later on how many stops he thinks he's going to be able to do during the race. Who else have we got out on circuit? Dan Evs. Now, interesting comment from Dan Evs was, it will take a miracle for me to win here. Well, Dan, to be honest, it will take a miracle for you to win at most tracks, mate, with the way Dave and Kev have been going this season, and your teammate Temp Fear. So talking about Temp Fear, his teammate, beat the manners. Short and simple as that. Make a statement that I am in the fight for the championship. Hello, Ray.
I got back, I got onto it, yeah. It could be simple, it's easy to say it's simple, but it might be harder than what he thinks.
Well, yeah, tis a long season, and obviously it's not going to be as long as next season, but old Dom's time's just frozen on him there as he went to turn into what I believe to be turn 5, which would be a lap done and dusted with already, only at lap 5. So I take it that the game deemed him to have a wide entry there. That's unfortunate, so we'll skip from over Dykink. So on to Killer Corkin. Did you catch up with Killer Corkin today, Ray?
Check my notes.
As we see him running off into the car park, trying his 3-point turn techniques.
I never got Killer Corkin.
Okay. Well, as we saw him heading down into the parking area there, the runoff road, I've just managed to find what he said. It was just the first one in the press conference, he was, and his comments were, no comment, just probably going to crash. So that was it. So very short and sweet. Have we actually got anybody that's setting a lap at the moment? We have. We've got Temp Fear, who's done a first sector of a 32.9, and his time seems to have frozen, but I didn't see him cut a corner or go wide there. Was that just the end of the sector and it's just running on? No, I think a lot of drivers are finding it very difficult to get the lap times validated here. Let's just have a look at the leaderboard, see if we've got anybody on the board yet. Mornay with a 2:06, and as far as I can see is the only person that's completed a full lap, and at the moment that lap looks like it stands. So Mornay could be a good race for him. So Bartman crosses the line. So
filter time's down to 3.5 seconds now.
Yeah, the conditions are changing, and I think what a lot of drivers will have found is they've gone out on the wet tyres, but they're not going to work as well as they thought they might, because it's going to be inters soon. So we've just seen somebody else set another lap, because Bartman now, he was in first, he just dropped down into second. So it's hammer time. Yep.
57.2.
I'll tell you what, I'm on board with Dan Evs, because he's going to be the next guy to cross the line unless he goes for the pit lane. I'm just going to see where this puts him. He might be a driver that's quite happy with a bit of wet weather. and that's put him 3rd place. Yep, that'll have put him a smile on his face temporarily. He's not planning on much from this race, but the wet weather is something he's used to, as he lives in Wales. No further comments on that one. Oh, he was just about to lose the back end of it then. Did he hit the wall? I think he avoided it. Okay, so Mr. Hamilton 44 is on a lap at the moment. He's sector 1 of 32.4 with the wet conditions. To be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what these sectors we're expecting the sector times to be, because normally that sector 1 would be in the 28s. So with it being wet, it's in the 32s. So Mr. Hamilton 44, I don't think we got comment from Mr. Hamilton 44, because with him being a reserve, I don't think we actually managed to get round to talking to him in the press conference earlier on today. Right, you see anybody that's on a... I was going to say, did you...
Yeah, I'm just watching Batman 2112. He's coming to finish his lap time to 157.6. He's currently 2nd.
That's 2nd place. Just looking at Mr. Hamilton 44's sector 2, and when I saw what Dan Evs was, I believe it to be a bit quicker than Dan Evs. Now, has he got enough fuel to go for this end of this lap and for another lap? It looks like he might be doing. Feeling confident as he goes into that last corner. Keep it on the black stuff, son. He has done, and that keeps him 4th place. But I think we might be near that crossover point.
Joe Finn's missed his braking point. He's down the side streets.
Oops.
He's going down the alleyway.
They're trying to find the shortcut.
What I've not seen is Dave or...
No, I was just having a look, and they've not been out yet. They have not been on circuit yet. But I am on board with Conzo 1993, who is on a lap. He's in sector 3. Currently sat in 12th place, which I believe means he's not put a lap in yet. And this is sort of circuit and sort of conditions that can turn the grid upside down. Absolutely, completely upside down.
Well, 10th Fears went first with a 155.8.
Oh, Connor just... he's ran wide on the last corner and it's invalidated his lap time. That is so unfortunate. It would have been smiling from ear to ear that he was going to get a reasonable lap time in there. Unfortunately, he ran wide on that last corner, and I did just see, I think, DP come out the pit lane, and I didn't quite catch what his sidewall of his tyres were, because I think he wouldn't have come out at this point if it was getting drier on a set of wet tyres.
Kev's on the full wets and DP's on the full wets.
So they are both on the full wets. Maybe they're thinking that it might not get to the inters, might not dry up quick enough. With it being night time, that sun might not just burst through. Well, obviously the sun's not going to burst through, it's night time. So because the sun's not bursting through, it's not going to dry up that quickly. But there doesn't seem to be that much rainfall. Yeah.
2.7 seconds, and it's gone down quite fast.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether they've gone out for this banker in case they don't get the other one in.
Yeah. And with the invalidated laps, what we might find is the drivers will try to take it to the barrier, but in some places the white lines are car width away from the barrier, and that's where they're not realising that it's the white line, not the barrier or the curb, that defines the racing track. It's that white line and they're going over it.
Yeah.
Just try to get that extra room round the corners. And I think it's turn 7, or I think it would be that turn 7 and 9. I think that might be hitting them the most.
Turn 7 is one that does tend to, you tend to hop over the curb there if you're not careful. And turn 9, there's a little, where the wall just dips out a little bit, tends to catch a few drivers out. Now, while we've been talking about what the weather's been like, one thing we've not noticed is that Over Dykink has set provisional pole on his full wet tyres with a sector 1 of a 31.9, a sector 2 of a 43.2. No, that's what he's on now. I apologise. There's me doing my Murray's again.
32.1, Sector 1, Sector 2 of 43.4, and Sector 3 of 39.5.
He's up again on this lap, but this is going to be interesting because he's going to complete this lap, which is going to improve his time, but it's going to leave him short of time to get in, put some some inters on, and go again. But there we go, he's crossed the line with a 1:54.7. He's got 6 minutes to get round, swap his tyres over, and get out and get back to the line again. Well, if we're expecting Front Row Racing DP and Kev 187 to do that, I suppose Overdyking should theoretically have the time, but I am starting to worry that the Mode Red Mana Mauritius may just find they're short of time, and they might just bring it into the pits, you know, on this lap, rather than because they're going to miss the driest part. Because what's the delta time at the moment on the intermediates?
I'll just tell you. Wait for the guy to bring the iPad over. We're down to 2.12 seconds.
Still, so it's hanging around about that same. Well, maybe it is then. It's going to be a session that finishes on the full wets. So maybe they are committed. Maybe they are committed at the moment, though. And I am on board with Bartman, who's done a sector 1 of a 32.1, which isn't too bad. It's not far off what Overdyking was doing. He's just coming to the end of sector 2. He's a little bit off Overdyking's sector 2. We'll just have a little look, see who else is out on who's out setting a lap times, because the two we're interested in right down the bottom here. And Kevin 87 just coming to the line, and he's gone 3rd place. And where is Front Row Racing DP? He's got a couple of corners to go. Yeah, he's a bit off the pace at the moment on what we've seen set from Overdyking, so he's looking at a 2nd, 3rd or 4th place here. A bit sideways out that last corner, and it's a 3rd place, which has put his teammate to 4th. But have they got enough fuel on board to roll on to another lap? So at this point in the session, I think anybody that's out on circuit is going to be struggling, if it does get drier, to put the other compound on. The guys that are in the pits that are waiting for the other compounds to come into their window might find that they don't come into the window. So it is a bit of a, well, I don't know what you would call it at this point, juggling session really. But we're on board with DP. He's set his sector 1 of a 32.4, not too bad. We'll see if we can go and find Temp Fear is out. He is on the full wets, but we have a guy on the inters that you might want to keep an eye on for me, Ray, and that's Joey Finn. He's currently sat in 15th place. He's not set a lap time yet, and I think he may have just had this one invalidated, unfortunately, so he'll be looking to try and get a time in. Killer Corkin has gone on to the inters, so yeah, they are noticing it. Yeah. What happened to Killer there, Ray?
He's back in, turn 2, turn 2, 3 I think it is. He's back in, kicked out, and he just saved his nose, his front wing from the wall. He gave it a little tap, but not enough to damage it.
Yeah, so would you say it's not quite there for the inters yet then? They're more gambling that when they get round to this for the next lap, that's when they're going to be working?
I think they're gambling it 2 seconds, and I'll check the delta time, but it should be really close now. It should be, what we're sitting at, delta time 1.5 seconds, so they could do it. If they've got fuel for 2 laps, it could just kick in on time.
It could quite well. I'm just having a look to see which comments we've not gone through yet. I was just watching Mr. Hamilton 44 on his full wets coming to the end of his lap.
If they get on inters and are the last person over that start-finish line to do the final lap, I reckon they could benefit. Okie
dokie, well we've got Hamilton crossing the line, and he's gone 2nd. That's Mr. Hamilton 44 in the Sensen Racing Williams on full wets. So that's not.
King's coming out in full wets again. He thinks it's not ready yet.
Well, that's an interesting.
Keep an eye on these Inter guys, because I think they might sneak a couple of places if they've got the fuel in there.
Yeah, I'm just having a look to see if we can find somebody that's on a hot one at the moment. Let's see what Mr. Hamilton does at the end of his sector 1. It's a little bit off there, and there might be an in-lap for him. Temp Fear, Sector 1's not too bad. He's currently sat in 3rd place. He is on the full wet tyres. And I'll tell you what, if they are going around for another level, yeah, I was just going to say, Kev 187 and Front Racing DP must be not far off completing their next laps, which they're on at the moment. So Kev 187 is currently ahead on circuit of Front Racing DP, but he's behind him on the grid, provisional grid. So he's going on to finish this lap. Is he going to improve from his 5th position? I don't believe he has. That looks like it stayed the same. So now I need to get to Front Row Racing DP. Is he out there? There he is. No, that's Kev. Front Racing DP must have boxed. His session must be done with. So, and Jamie James has rejoined the session. Front Row Racing DP, we can't get on board with him, so he must be in the pits. But talking about Front Row Racing DP, did you manage to catch up with Mr. DP earlier on today?
DP, yes I did. This is going to be Collis for Conzo. He's coming round the last 4th corner and he's got 25 seconds to get to the line, and he's on the inters, so that's good work out for him if
he can hit that line. Yeah, he's just coming around that last corner.
Front Row Racing DP, oh, he's had a wiggle. Front Row Racing DP, he loves the track, but it can be unpredictable. If it rains, he says Temp will win, hoping for a dry race. Qualifying will be crucial, so he's not
I believe he said a bit more than that.
Did he?
Yeah, there was something beforehand.
He loves the track, but it can be unpredictable.
The bit where he said, when the seagulls follow the trawler.
Well, that was nothing to be about racing, so that got flung out the window.
It's because we're in the bay, in Marina Bay. That's what it is. But also, if anyone knows football and knows Eric Cantona, that played for Manchester United, he once went on to talk about seagulls following the trawler. So yeah, it's a comment referring to that basically. So there we go. I think he's trying to match me with some of my comments, but he's not quite reached that level yet. So we are on board with Bartman, who is coming to the end of his lap. He is currently sat in 7th place. We don't know whether he's on a faster one or not, but he's sideways round the final corner and he's stayed in the same place. Now Conzo,
he's just the wall.
Yep. Now he theoretically is going to be the last one over the line, we believe, because we think he was the last one to start his lap. He sat in 14th place and he's going to be wanting to improve on that. I don't think it didn't quite go over to those inters. It was almost there. It was so close. And for anyone that was on the inters, if it had have done, I think they would have been, you know, up at the front of the grid. But it just didn't happen. It was so close. The circuit was right in between the two different compounds. And he's gone 8th.
He's went 8th.
There we go. And that's going to be the difference between setting your lap time at the start or the end, and or on the right compound. Do we have anyone else out on a lap? No, we can't change to anyone else. So that is qualifying complete. There is the order. Temp Fear, we didn't see that. He's put him on pole. He's wanted his pole position for a long time, and he's got it. So Temp Fear, pole position with a 154.428, 2 tenths faster than Overdyking, looking a bit further down the list. And we will have drivers behind us on the grid, so we're going to have to be careful of that. Joey Finn not setting a lap. GT Viking with his qualifying ban, and Kimi Räikkönen in the Scuderia Ferrari will be the Jamie James car, but he may not be in the Ferrari. So we'll have to keep an eye out for what other car that is. So there we go, qualifying over and done with. And that puts DP into 4th place, Kev into 5th, right into the danger zone in the middle. Bartman, I believe, was just a couple of places further down. Oh, we're going to be dry. Are we going to be wet?
Or are we going to be in between?
Are we going to be in between? It's piddling it down. Well, I can tell you now that not Mr. Hamilton, Hammer Time 44 was planning on doing a 2-stop race. He had the pace he feels and the tyre wear to do it. Well, good luck doing that in the wet, because I reckon you might need about 4 wings. Quite possibly.
Oh, the Tunnel of Doom. Remember it?
Yeah. Right, so then we've got plenty of comments on YouTube. We'll come round to those in a little while, but quick reminder of question of the day. As we are in Singapore, and Singapore fried rice is my favourite takeaway. What is your favourite takeaway? Let us know. So, strategy on here says a 1-stop for the full wets, about lap 15, only a few seconds left to go. And I have a car behind me.
So I'll have to pull into soon.
Yeah. So 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Let's go racing! As we get ourselves up to the front of the grid to see any carnage that may be up there. And there is Konzo in 6th place, Mornay 5th, Hammer Time in 4th place, Bartman in 3rd, Dan Evans is currently in 7th, but Killer... Oh, Dan Evans has nearly rolled it. I don't know who that was with. It was Kev187. Dan Evans was up on 2 wheels. Unfortunately, it wasn't the front or the back, it was the 2 on the side of the car.
I think and it's still going round, or was that DP? No, DP's down in 13th.
Oh no, not again. Oh, Dan Evans has caught the back of... Yeah, I think we might be getting a little bit of lag here on this first lap. Let's hope it settles down a little bit. And if there are any drivers that are watching the live stream, turn it off, because it's not going to be helping your connection or any of your fellow drivers. I'm wondering, you know, whether...
I think they're going for a move at the front. I thought Overdike King was going for a move on top here.
GT5 King's just caught the back of Dan Evs. I did just see that. I am trying to get up there at the front. I think it may be, you know, that this track is just a lot wetter than the drivers were expecting. It looks wetter than it was in qualifying.
They're all sliding.
Yeah, I mean, we called it lag, but you know what?
Overdike King late on the brakes, try to get it cut on the inside. Oh, there was... I think they need to calm down a wee bit with this wet weather. They can't go at dry pace.
And it does look like they are attempting to do that. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to say this, but Temp Fear on a pad, Overdiking on a pad, Bartman on a pad, it's Hammer Time 44 on a pad, and those pad users are running away. This is going to be a race of 2 halves, or should I say, it's going to be like a race of 2 different leagues, because the pads in the wet are just going to run away with it. It doesn't matter what anybody says, you can see it. Traction control is there for the pad users, and we've got a Sauber in 4th place, so that is either Mornay or Johu Finn. I don't think it's going to be Johu Finn, or I may be mistaken, as I usually am.
Oh, Kev, the Manor and Mauritius have came together down at the start-finish route. They're tangled. I think it might be a bit of lag. They're tangled together. They're going... No, Kev's hitching a ride, but what I could see. But he's not, he's in front. There's a bit of lag going on. It looked as if Kev was hitching a ride on top of Dave's car.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all for them, is it? Well, it will save him some fuel. So back up at the front, we do have Temp Fear holding off Dom, I should say Overdiking, in 2nd place. But just to give you some idea of the difference between these guys up at the front and the ones further down, we've got Temp Fear in 1st, we've got Overdiking in 2nd, 3rd place Bartman, 4th place it's Hammer Time 44, 5th place Mornay 77, who's on a pad doing very well there. Then we've got Mr. Hamilton 44, and I believe the top wheel runner is Dan Evs, up in 7th place, doing very well there for himself. Then we've got Konzo 1993, who's got a car stuck to the side of him, and it's Kev187. I'm wondering if they can see each other. I'm wondering if there just seems to be that little bit of connectivity issue there between them. But Konzo's gone a bit deep into the corner, and Kev187 is going to be looking for that overtake. He's going to need to get that position back. There's the side to side again, going through. I'm trying to remember. it doesn't look quite right. As long as it's okay on their screens for them, then we're going to carry on, to be honest with you, because they seem to be carrying on without damage, so we shall let them. Front Row Racing DP is catching up behind them, but they're already currently over 11 seconds off the lead. So Temp Fear's lap time of 1:57. So behind DP we've got Killer Corkin, who's on a wheel. We've got Joey Finn running in 12th place, who is on a wheel, and GT5 King in 13th place, who is on a wheel. And then it goes back to Temp Fear, who is up at the front. So unfortunately Jamie James did not make the grid. So back to the front we have got Temp Fear starting to pull out a little bit of a lead over Dykink. It was quarter of a second, it's now 1 second, and that rain does not look like it's going to be getting any lighter at any point soon. The puddles are getting deeper. But if any engineers can see or hear of anything different, let us know, because this does not look like it's going to be stopping anytime soon. Well, there was a driver, and it might have been DP that said if it rains, Temp Fear could quite easily win this one. And at the moment I wouldn't say he's doing it quite easily, but he's winning it at the moment. I don't want to curse him though. That's not me saying he's going to win it. It was DP that said it.
Yeah, I'm just watching Kev. He's got the hammer down. He's up, catching up on Dan Eves, and he's bringing his teammate slowly along. His teammate's quite a bit back, but Kev will be on the back of Dan Eves quite very soon. What's your predictions for the Tunnel of Doom? How many's going to get taken by it?
Well, I reckon at least 3 cars, but in what order and who? I'm not even going to mention names, because if I end up being correct, you know I will end up getting the blame. So yes, Kev187 and Front Racing DP have got past Konzo. They are catching up to Danevs, and over Dykink's now set the fastest lap. A guy that I want to keep an eye on is Mr. Hamilton 44, because when he was reserving last time in Front Row Racing World Championship, he did very well at Spa, but that was a completely different race. Very fast circuit, not too many sharp bends, and it was bone dry. And here we have got a circuit that is just...
Oh, Killer Corkin went a wee bit wide. This is giving GT5 King a good run up the inside. Not Killer's keeping it out on the outside. He's keeping it down into turn 4. Right late. He's broke too late. He's at the barrier. Oh, I think he saved his nose cone there. Yep, he saved his front wing, nose cone, front wing, and now he'll have Joe Finn right behind him.
So Joey Finn looking like he's just making Killer Corkin. Killer's gone wide
Killer's
again.
Wide. Killer's not coping well. Oh, that was close.
It was. I'm just wondering if Killer Corkin might just have a little bit of downforce missing off his front of his wing, because it looks like that front end is just struggling a little. But I'm wondering if he's running lower downforce then, and it looks like, well, we do know, and you know, that Killer Corkin has recently changed from the pad to the wheel, so he is getting used to it. Yeah, okay.
Closer, so he's biting away at his lead. So we'll see if he gets it. Oh, Temp Fear never had that good line through that corner, so that gave over Dykink, sorry, a bit of a run towards him, but he seems to pull it out in the traction of the corners. He's just pulled away.
That could be down to a number of things. It could be he's got a heavier right thumb, or it could be he's got more wings, so he's getting more grip, more traction.
Well,
he's got...
I've got three cars from 3rd to 5th, all close together. Batman, it's Hamilton 44, and Mr. Hamilton 44. They're all close. My two enemies when I'm commentating.
Well, we've got teammate on teammate here with a Mercedes following them. So the teammates are going to be wanting to try and keep this clean, but Mr. Hamilton 44 is just going to want to get on with this as soon as possible. He looks like he's got the pace at the moment. What did I say? Mercedes? Oh dear. Oh, never mind. It has a Mercedes engine. It is a Mercedes in disguise. But Bartman in third place is 5 seconds off the lead at the moment. He's just started to struggle over this last lap or so, whereas previous couple of laps ago we were able to see the ones ahead. There they are, just disappearing off up the road.
Kev's got ahead of Dan Evans. We've just missed it off screen, and next will be front row racing DP if he keeps his gap. Is DP keeping his gap to Kev to get to the pits at the same lap? Because he's not pushing to catch Kev, he's keeping that same distance roughly.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sort of thing where if you get too close in these conditions, you will get your dirty air understeer as well as it being wet. But obviously he's got Dan Evans that he's going to be wanting to overtake. But to do with the pits, to be honest with you, at this moment in time, I wouldn't even, if it was me racing, I'm not saying they're not considering it, but to me, I wouldn't be considering it. The reason being, these tyres.
Mr. Hamilton 44 going for a look over, and it's Hammer Time 44, and he can't quite do it. He's had to settle back in, but oh no, he's put the power down too soon, and his back end's kicked off, kicked out a bit. Sorry, kicked off.
Kicked off.
I'm not doing that.
That's a Scottish thing, that is.
Too much.
Well, front racing DP is getting very close to the back end of Dan Evans. Going round turn 5, and he's got it done. That was just, I don't know whether that was Dan Evans going, I know you're faster than me, do it, but just, you know, left the door wide open for him really. But Dan Evans running in 8th place at the moment, not too bad. But I was talking about the pit stops at the moment. If you and your teammate are considering pit stops, at the moment for me it's a little bit early. Anything can happen. I mean, there's about 10 laps to go yet before I would consider pitting, unless the weather changes, unless there's something happening that we don't know about. These tyres should be okay yet.
Any engineers on the live stream, can you give me a wee update on weather progress, please? Thank you, much appreciated.
Do we have any interesting comments on the YouTube channel at the moment?
Not yet, no.
Come on, guys that are watching.
We've got it, but they'll all be tense because of wet weather and the drivers out there. Just take one lapse, one wee bit of misconcentration and they're gone into the barrier.
I mean, I'm currently watching here Tempfear and Overdyking, and it's getting very close.
Yeah, I think he's been following them long enough that he's alright, okay, this is what I need to do. I'll try it out. You know, as he gets a big slide out of turn 4, I think it is. 3, sorry.
Yeah, heading round turn.
Retired.
Oh. That was that terminal damage. That the only way of finding that out is by asking him the question. So if you would like to do that for us, see what comment we can get from Mr. Dan Evans, because I know he wasn't looking forward to this race, but one thing I am aware of is he was wanting to get to the end. That was one of his things he did say he was planning on trying to do. So something must have gone wrong there. Hopefully it wasn't the stadium section under the tunnel. Overdyking just sitting waiting behind Tempfear. Is he going to look to try and do an undercut? It's difficult in these conditions. I mean, a set of fresh tyres could well be quicker, but it's just deciding at what point do you do it, because you could put yourself into traffic if you're not careful. I mean, if he feels he's got pace, he might be better off just following him for the time being. Go on.
I think Mr. Murphy is Danny's engineer. He said it was damage, and for the weather updates, the McLaren garage says it will keep raining, but on Ferrari garage it's saying that the track is drying. So good to different.
Well, it's interesting that because it's the two guys that are at the front. So at the moment the Ferrari guy is being told it's drying, and the guy that's leading the race is being told it's going to continue wet. So that could completely alter your strategy in that situation. Or is one of them playing ball games with us? Who knows? For any drivers from World Series that are watching currently live and you want to shout out, just post your name in the comments and we'll get Mr. Raymond here to give you a shout out. Let us know that you're watching.
Well, we'll need to shout out to these ones that have been on it for the start. We've got Eraser21, then we've got Roto Chick, as we know her as. She's on for, I think it's the McLaren garage, and then we've got Sam Murphy. He was one that told us about Dan Evs. So they're the three that's been on since the start of the race and keeping us updated with everything.
That's good. Good to know they're there. Appreciate it. And just looking a bit further down from the leaders, 6th place is Kev187, 7th is DP, then we've got Konzo running in 8th place, GT5 King currently running in 9th place, only 5 seconds behind his teammate Joe Finn, or I should say Juho Finn. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I'll just call him Joe. Or is it Jew? It might not be a Jew. The Finnish driver is in 10th place, 44 seconds behind the leader, Killer Corkin. In 11th, Mornay 77 still running. It must have been Mornay that had a bit of an issue earlier on, because we did see him up in about 5th position for quite some time, but is now over 1 minute behind the lead. So back to the leader, Temp Fear, down the start-finish straight. Still got a bit of a gap there between himself and Overdyking. In fact, at this moment in time, I'd say Temp Fear is probably looking quite comfortable just to leave Overdyking sat in his rear view mirrors, and he'll push when he needs to. Just touching a bit of a wall there on the approach to turn 5. This is the way, if you're going to make an overtake, it's probably going to be up this straight. Get as close as you can, get the engine turned up rich, but Overdyking's not anywhere near close. Is it time for these tyres to be dropping off? And
Mr. Hamilton, he's got the run on. It's Hammer Time 44. Hammer Time's gone defensive. No, he's moved back onto the racing line and the braking zone. Mr. Hamilton trying to keep a tighter line to get the acceleration. No, he's not getting it, but they're close. They're going to be side by side. Oh, keep the carvage there, please. And I think this is going to continue on down this straight. Mr. Hamilton's got the power down. He's on the inside. No, he can't quite do it on the brakes, and he lets it's Hammer Time 44 keep the place. But I think it's Hammer Time 44 is struggling now. I think the tyres might be going off because they've done a couple of laps on qualifying.
Yeah, I mean after 9 laps of the race, then these tyres are going to start to be going off, and the pit stops will be most likely around 15. But I wouldn't be surprised if some drivers took a bit of a gamble and pitted earlier to get a fresh set and a bit of an undercut. But I've got a bit of a feeling there might be something happening up at the front. Overdyking's still there or thereabouts with Temp Fear. Are either of them going to go for that pit lane? Because I wouldn't be surprised if we saw cars pitting rather soon, because it is noticeable that these cars are just starting to move a little bit more on the surface of the water. They're not moving that water as well as they did at the start of the race.
McLaren have sacked their weather report and got a new one. Oh, it's Hammer Time 44's went wide in the turn 1, turn 2. He's had to back out and let Mr. Hamilton through. Yeah, McLaren have sacked. They've got a new weather report and saying that it'll keep raining. Rehab said 20 minutes of heavy rain. That was coming from.
Yeah, I think it means rehab, not rehab. Yeah.
And GP to lose a win tomorrow from Hindle. That was Hindle. Hindle's online watching as well.
Yeah, let's hope that Hindle has connectivity issues tomorrow. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I want to beat him in a fair race. Not a wet race.
Mr. Hamilton's got past it's Hammer Time 44. He's on the back of Bartman. Can he do the same to Bartman? Get him out of position, get him to lose his braking point that he got to get past, because that's how you get past. Oh, he's going for it.
They're
He's
both
locked it
contacted.
back down.
And Kev 187 is going to be coming around that corner and takes both of them as they both return to the track. Let's hopefully they return to the track safely.
And
when I mean,
he just got in front of Bartman by an inch. That was close.
when I say returning to the track safely, what I mean by that here is not necessarily pulling back onto the track when there's cars coming. It's very easily to get disqualified by returning back to the track from one of these escape roads. And I thought his Hammer Time 44 was going to go for the pit lane then, but he doesn't. He goes round for another lap. And there's no action in the pit lane yet. So let's have a look, see what's happening up at the front. Tempfear still leading over Dykink, very close to his rear. Oh, those tyres are looking very wet and shiny. Now they're coming up to lap a car which is a Williams, so that must be the Williams of Killer Cork, and I'm wondering whether he's just recently pitted, or is that the difference in pace at the moment between Tempfear over Dykink and Killer Corkin. So over Dykink's wiggling the rear end a little bit there. Killer Corkin moves out of the way. Very well done, nice and sporting of you to do so. And he'll be looking to try and catch a few points towards. Oh, Tempfear's gone a bit deep there though in turn 7. That wasn't turn 7 though, was it? Whichever turn that was. From the aerial view it looked very difficult. It looked like turn 10, to be honest with you. It was, I do believe, turn 10.
Just before the chicane, that's turn 10, yeah.
Yeah, I just got an aerial view of it, but it's gone deep again. Over Dykink's got to have the run on him. Surely one of these cars now are going to be thinking about the pits. He just keeps that position. They are struggling now for grip, and it's not because it's got wetter, it's because the tyres are losing their tread. And it did say that lap 14 and 15 would make it a one-stop race, and what I'm thinking, well, maybe what they're considering is they're going to have to make these tyres get to lap 15, otherwise they're going to make it a two-stop race. You could go for a bit of an undercut now and hope that it dries up and that everyone else is going to have to pit again later on. Over Dykink's going to have the run on him down the start-finish straight. He's tucking into his slipstream and he's having a little nose into that first corner. No, he's definitely sticking behind him. Tempfear takes a bit of a curve on the inside of turn 1 and on turn 3. Over Dykink's just sat there at the moment though, waiting patiently. Thing is, if Over Dykink is just going to sit there and wait and hope that Tempfear ends up sticking it in the wall and writes his car off, it might not happen. He's going to have to put him under a bit more pressure yet.
Was that a bit of Scottish coming in there?
It did sound like it. You're rubbing off on me.
That's a bit early for that talk.
Ah, yeah, less of the rubbing. Right, more of the talking. Let's have a quick look down the field, because it looks like Tempfear has just caught his composure a little bit. So we'll leave Tempfear and Over Dykink for the time being. It's Hammer Time at 44 in third place, with Kev 187 right up his gearbox in fourth place. And Kev 187 is looking quite comfortable at the moment. He's looking very...
Tempfear's touched the barrier, he's still able to keep going. He's still in first place. He just got the barrier out of turn 7, I think it was. 7 or 8.
At the moment, when I see cars getting a bit of contact, I can't tell whether it's contact or it's a bit of lag. It looks like at the moment that Kev 187 is trying to make a move on It's Hammer Time 44, but the two cars are getting extremely close, and I can't tell whether it's lag or contact, so I'm hoping to them that they can see each other very clearly. Oh, that is definitely... I don't know whether that's... I was going to say that's definitely lag, but then I was thinking, no, it's not actually, because Mr. Hamilton 44 is catching them up, and I don't know what you would call that. that is very bizarre drifting around the corners there.
Synchronised.
It is, it's synchronised, isn't it? I mean, you couldn't get any closer between two cars. It's almost as if they cannot see each other on track. I mean, Kev's up. We're going to have a hybrid in a minute. What the hell is that? I mean, how do I commentate on... I mean, that's not a Red Bull, that's a Raging Bull. That was a Mana Marussia Red Bull.
It seems Kev's in front.
He is.
Is it?
I'm wondering, you know, whether Kev had any idea that car was there at all whatsoever, because it just or vice versa, or whether they know each other are there at all. But there they go. We do have Kev in third place. As long as each driver are okay with what they're doing, then we shall leave them to it. But Kev is running in third place. Overdyking second place, still within a second of Tempfear, but no DRS in use at the moment because it is wet. So there we go for a pit stop. Is it for just for tyres?
Damage. The damage one.
Ooh, so that could mean then a two-stop where he could end up having a very long last stint on those wet tyres.
How can you go sideways down the straight? Come on. Sort out the broadcast view, Codemasters.
Yeah, definitely a bit of issue there. Well, I've come away from them because it's, even though it is funny to watch, it's not enjoyable to watch too much. I want to see nice, good, clean battling. I mean, I'm not saying they're not doing, but let's go and have one more look. Oh, that's DP that I'm clicking on. Bartman's down in 7th place. Konzo running in 8th, GT5 King in 9th. Can see his teammate just ahead of him. They're going to have an interesting race from here onwards, because when it comes round to... Oh, GT5 King's gone deep. He's going to lose a bit of his wing. Has he lost his wing, or has he just caught the barrier? I think he may have lost a bit of an end plate.
Nope, it's all there, it's all there.
He's got away with that one. He did go deep into the corner. He did catch the barrier with his wing, and he was very fortunate to get away with it. But when these two guys come round for their pit stops, one of them is going to have to run the extra lap longer than what they probably would have wanted to do. Mornay running in 10th place. 11th is Johu Fern, and he will be the next car to be lapped. Keller Corkin in 12th place. So Tempfear still got Overdyking all the way up behind him. Now, I would say this is the closest battle on the circuit at the moment, but we do know that Kev 187 and It's Hammer Time have been extremely close together. Well, now we've got Mr. Hamilton 44 and... oh, here we go. Mr. Hamilton 44 and It's Hammer Time 44 extremely close together. I'll let you commentate on this this bit, Ray.
Sorry, I'll put it front in it. There's a wee interesting fact about up at the front that I won't reveal till later.
Ooh, would it have anything to do with a P word?
What, peeing down the rain?
The peeing down rain, yeah. Or if you need a pee, the toilet's over that way. Or maybe...
Mr. Hamilton 44's got him at the tunnel of doom. Do I go 2x2 in there? Ooh.
So Mr. Hamilton 44's got the move done.
Yeah, he got the move done. It was close. It's Hamilton 44 stuck in the outside of him round that corner. He could have well been in the barrier. So all he has to do now is follow, get a slipstream and stay close to him and attack back when he can. As he's quite on turn 3, he's quite close on turn 3. How's his final drive out the corner? Doesn't look... it looked quite the same as Mr. Hamilton 44. Oh, Keller Corkin has given up or something.
Well, unfortunately there we see a retirement, and he's left the session now. Either...
oh, Marnie's crashed. What turn was that? Coming over the bridge, was it? I'm not too sure. He'd lost
14 normally is a corner where a lot of people end up going off. That's after the quite a long straight after the tight corner.
Yeah,
I
just
say
before
tight corner.
the tunnel.
Right, I'm not sure which one you mean there, but never mind. I am just noticing that DP is starting to catch these up. He did go through a bit of a slow few laps a moment ago, and Kev 187 was starting to pull a bit of a gap out on DP, but they have got Mr. Hamilton 44 and it's Hammer Time 44 between them, the two Mode Red Mauritius, but we are expecting pit stops. So let's have a look. Tempfear and Overdyking, they'll be the ones going towards the pit lane in a couple of corners time. Will either of them head for the pits? But I'm really interested to know what happened. Tempfear.
He's gone.
Yeah, and Overdyking. Now, if you were Overdyking in this position, would you follow him in, or would you have gone for the extra lap just to change what's happening?
No, I would have followed him. Overdyking on Inters. What's no, he's not. It's changed to Wits.
But they are going to come out in traffic.
What?
I did see another car
Guess
come.
What? Temp has went Inters.
So's Overdyking. Overdyking is on Inters.
Has it changed? Yeah.
Yeah, they are both on Inters, and there was another car coming in the pits, and they had Inters ready.
Kev, and there's a Tempfear. Why is he down in third? Temp down in third. Oh, it's that pit lag.
There is that, but I think there's cars that haven't pitted as well. But you know what? I don't know whether it's any drier at this stage. It'd be interesting to see what happens to their pace compared to the other guys that put on the full wets, because is it any drier? I see similar sort of spray levels really. But also, Killer Corkin, if you are watching, if you could let us know what happened to you. Hope to God it wasn't you just not liking the conditions, but also I hope that you didn't hit the wall as well. So if you could let us know, that would be appreciated. So currently leading the go on.
DP, they must have double stacked in Mauritius, because DP's on Inters as well.
There was a bit of a gap between them, so I think, you know, they would have had enough time to both pit. Now, it says here he's 9 seconds off the leader, which isn't too bad at all, you know. And as this race starts to get drier, I'm going to start favouring DP to catch his teammate, because DP in practice session, in dry practice sessions, has been much quicker than his teammate. So Overdyking is currently in 4th place. Tempfear is currently running 3rd. It's Hammer Time 44 in 2nd. And Mr. Hamilton 44 is into the pits. He is. And
it's Hammer Time kept going.
Yep, so the other 44 has carried on. So what tyres is he going to be putting on? That's Inters.
It looks like Inters, yep.
No, it's wet. Now it's gone to wets.
It's okay, it's Inters.
It keeps changing its mind. If only you could actually change your mind after you'd already put the wrong tyres on. Anyway, so Mr. Hamilton 44 comes out in 5th place, which will be, I believe, ahead of DP, behind Kev 187, so that's given DP a position to try and catch up on there. So, is it Inters time? Have the drivers had the call from their engineers that the wets are no longer working and it is suitable for the intermediate tyres? But you know what? I cannot see it on the screen. I cannot see it. I'm not saying it's not, because obviously we're not in the car. We're not. In fact, you know what? We can sit on the camera view that we would see if you were in the car, and it's not throwing it down with rain. But I don't know about Inters yet. But that's why they're in this league and I'm not. And that's why I run with a little bit of a... Oh, Mr. Hamilton 44. Mr. Hamilton 44 nearly lost his front wing. He lost his back end and nearly found an extra bit of front wing in the wall. But DP's caught him up massively over that last sector there. I think DP might... Yeah, I think, you know, if you could have a look at Mr. Hamilton 44's front wing, I think you will find there's a little bit of it missing, and he's going to have to do another pit stop.
Yes, as the end plate's gone and the top part of the wing.
Well, there he's gone deep into that corner, and that's going to let DP just drive on by. So Mr. Hamilton 44 has just done a pit stop, and he's going to have to go and do another one. There is no point whatsoever, not even if it was dry, would you consider running with a little bit of your front wing missing, not around this circuit. So let's hope that he doesn't find another wall before he gets to the pit lane.
It's
so
Hamilton's in the pits. It's Hamilton 44, sorry, in the pits, and it's the Inters he's got.
Yeah, he has.
Because there's this glitch, isn't there? So he'll come out the pits, and then he jumps back in the pits. It's that kangaroo petrol they use. It says he's came out behind Duo Fin, and is that DP?
It is DP. DP is just about to lap Duo Fin. I think Duo Fin might still be running around on the tyres that he started. No, he had to pit for a wing early on, didn't he? So he may have gone back onto another set of wet tyres early on. That might be why he's not put the Inters on at the moment in time.
Pitted for his front wing. Oh, we've got GT5 King just in the garage. He's just come in for his pit stop. And he's getting a new front wing as well.
Oh dear. Well, I keep going up to the front to look at Overdyking and Temp Fear, and it's almost as if they're just following each other around at the moment, and I really want to see a battle here. I want to see a couple of swaps of positions, and I don't really want to see it through drivers making mistakes. I want to see some great overtaking, some great defending, and again some more great overtaking and defending. But to be honest with you, you can't fault what Temp Fear's been done at the moment. I don't think Overdyking can do anything about the car ahead, to be honest.
And Kev's 11 seconds off the leader, so I'll keep an eye on his time and see if it cuts down.
So the lead cars have just come across the line. They completed 18 laps, on their 19th lap now. Still a long way to go in this race, and it's going to be getting to. It's going to be nearly an hour-long race for these guys in these conditions, and yeah, they're going to be feeling this one after this race.
Overdyking, he's got a slipstream. Is he going to get it down? He's going to be on the outside, but if he can get the switch back in the corner, no, he's late on the brakes. He's taking. No, I thought he was going to take it around outside, but no.
It was nice to see him trying, but I think a bit of the curb might have just not helped him slow down there. Slowing down on the curb is not going to be as quick as slowing down on the tarmac, especially in these conditions. So, but nice to see him going for that move, and it would have given Temp Fear something to think about. You know, there's no point in letting that guy in front of you just drive around however he wants to. Put him under a bit of pressure, make him think about what he's got to do. Then you never know, he might hit a wall or two.
Yeah, it's this turn here. You can see that white line out for the barrier. That's where drivers could be getting caught out.
Yeah, and we're just looking on my track map. I do believe that to be oh, sorry, I just heard a big squeal of brakes. I do believe it to be turn 13 on the exit, and there's the white line on the right hand side there. That, yeah, that is one that can, you know, people don't, you know, drivers don't realise that there's a white line there and you're not meant to be crossing it. Another one is the entrance into turn 5. Drivers running wide on the entrance into 5 as well. People don't always realise there that, yep, it's not the circuit. Overdyking look like he's making a move here. He's up alongside Temp Fear. He's going to be getting the braking correct into the corner. Temp Fear's got it. Temp Fear has got the position still, but Overdyking again is making him think about it. But Kev 187 is starting to show his pace. He's put the fastest lap in under the current conditions.
Then DP, his teammate goes, no, hammer time, no, this is going to keep changing.
Well,
Conzo, you're next over the line. Are you going to do it? He's on the full wet still, Conzo. Is Conzo pitted?
I don't know.
He's got Mr. Hamilton 44. It looks like the Inters of the he's pitting now. Conzo's pitting now.
I was thinking, you know, that maybe those wet tyres had just gone off, and you needed to Mr. Hamilton 44 152. So yes, I think the wet tyres had gone off. You had to change them, but maybe the guys were getting the call that the rain was going to be getting lighter, so it was worth that because the lap is so long around here. Oh, we're going to have an overtake for the lead. Yeah, Temp Fear just caught the wall a little bit. Overdyking going to have to go the long way round though as they head up towards turn 14. Temp Fear's got the inside line, he's got the position still. A great battle in there for the lead. That's what we want to see, guys. So lap 20 for anybody that's watching, let us know who you want to win this race. Pardon?
How long would the Inters last?
Oh, do I dare give my information away to any of the engineers that may be listening?
Well, do you reckon they're going to have to do another pit stop? You've got 11 laps to go.
It depends, and I'll tell you what, now if DP was asking me this question, he would say, just give me a yes or no answer. Will they last to the end of the race?
Yes or no answer.
I ain't got a clue, but I'm going to have to explain why I've not got a clue. It depends on what the weather does. If it stays like this, you could possibly get them to the end, yeah. If it gets drier, no. They're going to burn up quicker. Or Overdyking very close to Temp Fear, then there might have been a bit of contact. But one thing I was going to mention though, or I was trying to mention, was the people that are watching, we've got two guys here battling for the lead. Who do you think is going to get it? We've got 10 laps to go, 10 and a bit laps to go. So who's it going to be, Temp Fear or Overdyking? And let us know in the comments. And I tell you what, at the moment Temp Fear's just looking comfortable, to even with a car behind him, not phased one bit at all. And some drivers, you know, they get phased when they're being followed, but he's not being phased at all. Please don't be that accursed.
If Razor's the engineer for Dom and Dom's Mrs. engineer for McLaren, how does that work out when Dom's Mrs. next to him? How do they work this all out?
Well, do you know on Facebook when you can say what relationship status you're in, and there's one that says it's complicated. It's kind of like that, I imagine. Unless it's Dom wanting some insider information from another team. Maybe somebody should... No.
He's lost his end plate. He's lost his end plate.
He has. That's going to be another pit stop then for Overdyking. Maybe he could hear us talking about him, talking about his missus, and it's being complicated. But there we go. Yes, he is going to go for the pits. Is he going to keep to the same compound, or is he going to gamble on a different compound? Because is he going to go full wets? But where's this going to... I'm going to stay on board with him because surely not.
Prime? Is that Prime or Options?
They are the Prime tyres. No, they are the intermediate tyres. No, they are the Prime tyres. They are dry. This could be... Interesting or a mistake, yeah. We're going to keep on board. It's put him out in 5th place. There's no car right behind him. Maybe this is where, you know, he's had to take a gamble. If he knows it's going to be getting drier, he's had to take a gamble. But for me, it's too wet for me. But I tell you what, at the moment he is a long way off the lead now, and we shall come back to him later on to see. So, whoever said they thought Overdyking was going to win in the comments, well done, you cursed him. So Ray, have a look in the comments and let's find out who cursed Overdyking.
It was his missus. Of course I want Dom to win the race.
That's it, make her feel even more guilty.
She says we're not complicated, Tony is a better engineer. I would prefer him to Tony or Dom. Sorry. No, right. Sorry, no need to answer that. That was inappropriate. I'll get a sack. Rachel Brooks will no longer be commentating.
No, I just thought of something else and I'm not even going to go there. But
no, we don't. We've had enough wee laughs with I think it's Elise, is that how you say your name? We've had enough wee
no,
laughs.
my name is Steve.
I'm not talking about you. Oh, Mr. Hamilton 44, how's he getting on?
I'll tell you what, DP is running in third place now with Kev in second place, and for Overdyking's championship challenge, this has scuppered it big time, unless the conditions change enough that the pit stop he's made already brings him right back into it. So we've just going through the order. I'll tell you what, we'll start up at the front and I'll run through the order correctly. So in first place we've got Temp Fear, second place Kev 187, in third place 18 seconds behind is Front Row Racing DP, then we've got It's Hammer Time 44 in fourth place, then we've got Mr. Hamilton 44 in fifth place, Overdyking currently running sixth place, 49.9 seconds behind, and he currently has Bartman who has just gone past him, breezed past him, and that just goes to show that those slick tyres are not working. Is he going to go for a pit stop and put on some different compound? Because if he doesn't, he's going to end up needing to, because he's going to lose some front wing, and I think he may have just gone and done that again. No, I think he got away with it, but he's got a car that's about to unlap himself. I did say I was going to go through the order, so I will do, and we'll find out who that is. So Konzo 1993 is in 8th place, GT5 King in 9th place, Mornay 77 in 10th place, Joey Finn in 11th, who has just unlapped himself from Overdyking, and Joey Finn is still running on the full wet tyres, wondering why Overdyking is on those particular compound of tyres. I mean, I would have said surely it was a mistake, but he...
What? DP's in the pits. DP's in the pits.
What compound is that? Because at this stage of the race, I don't know what he's going to go for. They look like slicks, and they look like soft compound tyres. Yeah.
No, Inters.
Have they changed back over to Inters? Are they red walled? They look red walled on mine. So they are the option tyres, and with the amount of laps to go that are left, that is about the amount of laps that you'd be wanting to do on those tyres. And just to confirm, when he gets out past the end of the pit, it does look like it, doesn't it? But maybe they know something we don't. It needs to get the temperature up quickly in those tyres, but maybe with Overdyking being in the position he was in, maybe he felt he had nothing to lose. But he's got Hamilton 44 right behind him, who's on the intermediate tyres. But maybe it's going to change at some point in these next few laps, and there is a bit of a dry line. But Front Racing DP's gone wide at turn 5, and I'll say turn 5. It's not turn 5. It's turn 7, and has allowed Mr. Hamilton 44 to take that position too easily, and now he'll be saying to his teammate, to Kev 187, don't do it, it's not time yet.
Yeah, the Ferrari garage are saying tyre gamble isn't working here. So
yeah, someone needs...
Maybe Dom will have his missus back next week.
Yeah.
And it's Alish. Alish. That's kinda how you say her name. She's typed it out, but I'll just call her Auto Chick because it's easier for me.
Yeah. It is easier that way. So Temp Fear is continuing on. He's not considering pitting yet. He's staying out on the intermediate tyres. He's got a bit of a gap between him and the cars behind.
Somebody lost a wing. I seen debris on the track.
It's not Temp Fear. No, I'm here. Kevin 187's got his wing. Hamilton Hammer Time 44 has got all of his.
Joel Finn 11th place, no wing.
Well, he's due about a pit stop at this point anyway. Don't know what tyres he's going to consider going on to, but it's Hammer Time 44. Currently running in third place, 18 seconds. Oh, he's just hit the wall, but no, he didn't hit the wall. Maybe it's him with a little bit of lag there then. It's Hammer Time 44, it's just a little bit too sideways there for the game's liking. So Bartman is in 5th position.
He's back in the pits.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. Not surprised at all with that call. And he's gone back to the Inter tyres. It will be fresh, so it will be finding some pace, but he's nearly a minute off the lead with that, and he's got a car coming round turn 1, and it's Konzo, and it will be for position, and I think it might no, it's not reset DP. It has. That is the position he's in. I thought I was going to get a bit of pit lane lag then for a moment, but DP's got a long way to go from there. But with the leaders now on lap 25 going over into lap 26, not long to go. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what some of the drivers think about this event afterwards, because they won't be liking the fact that these conditions have kind of like teased them a little bit into putting on some slick tyres and then realising that it's not worked. But I tell you what, it's made me think for tomorrow that if it looks like it might be going over for slick tyres, don't do it yet. There's probably not going to be enough grip out there, but you can see dry lines on the circuit. So I'm not surprised that the drivers were considering it. I just thought we had a battle on our hands then, because Kev 187 has got a car quite close behind him, but it's Joe Finn, who is lapped and just about come out of the pits not long ago, who's going to be on the fresher tyres.
So he's up to 9th place. He's took 10th place off Overdyking.
Is he sticking with his tyres? He is.
He's still sticking.
He's about to be lapped. Yeah, that's how much those tyres have cost him. But do you know, if Overdicking had realised that he'd made a mistake straight away on that lap, there's a possibility he could have pitted, gone straight back to the Inters, and he could have still been ahead of DP at this point. But I don't think, the circuit, well, my view is I don't think this circuit's going to get dry enough quick enough. If it was a daytime race and the sun was burning the water up off the tarmac, then there's the possibility, but the tarmac's just not going to have enough temperature in it.
Joe Finn's just coming up the back of him, so is Joe Finn going to unlap himself or take position? I don't know.
Well, Kev 187 now is about to go past Overdyking. Overdyking's still not pitted. He's sticking it out there. He's praying that the weather's going to change. Unless on his car he shows him he's got Inter tyres on it. So It's Hammer Time 44 has just set the fastest lap of the race. So It's Hammer Time 44 is on the Inter tyres. So that just goes to show what tyres are best at the moment. Bartman running in 5th place, DP in 6th, Konzo in 7th, GT5 King in 8th, Mornay in 9th place, Overdyking in 10th place, Joey Finn in 11th place, and you can see a car ahead of him. And do you know what? I think Joey Finn may have yes, Joey Finn has gone past Overdyking, but all he's done is unlapped himself once from Overdyking, so he was already 2 laps down on the leaders prior to that. So that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, very unlucky.
Yeah.
Well, I can't see how you could call it with the rain still coming down.
No, I mean, unless they could see something that we couldn't see. It'll be interesting to see what the drivers think afterwards, especially when we get to speak to some of the, if we can get to speak to some of the guys that have got teammates that have maybe made or considered making. There's a front wing in the tunnel. I don't know whose that was, but it wasn't there last lap round. Could it have been Temp Fierce? Could it have been the leaders? Kev 187 is only 7 seconds away from him. 7.5 seconds away.
It's not Joe Finn, it's Money.
Oh, so that could mean that Overdyking could potentially reel that position back in again, as that dry line, is starting to look drier and drier, and these drivers again are going to start to think, shall we really consider going on to the option tyres for only a few laps to go? What would you do, Ray?
Nah, the rain's still coming down. The only time you see it near enough to dry line is where heavy braking is, through the corners. You don't see it on the straights as much.
No, you don't. One thing I'm interested in knowing is any of the World Series drivers. It would really be useful for me to know at this point, what would you do now? So please let me know in the comments. I'll bear it all in mind for tomorrow. Also, Hindle, if you could let me know what your lap time is and your setup, if you could post your setup in the comments, that would be useful as well. No harm in asking.
Joe Finch, Monty's just been in the pits and he's came back out and there's no mind. Oh, he's lost it. He's on the soft tyres. He's on the Red Bull tyres and he's losing wings. So he might just gift Overdye King ninth place. Well, Overdye King's got 9th place, but he could have took it back off Overdye King, but he's went for the.
Well, at this point, I think.
Tires.
Yeah, but I think Mornay is more likely to go back to the pits and put the inters on, and I think Overdye King is more likely to carry on what he's got, praying and hoping that it is going to get drier, but it's still raining. Either that or he's just enjoying driving the car. But I tell you what, if he's going to be driving around in 9th place, not somewhere he would. There we go. Mornay unfortunately is retired from the race. Overdye King running around in 9th place on compound of tyre that is not particularly favourable to these conditions. To be fair, Overdye King, you might as well have used your wheel today. So there we go. Moving on. Front Racing DP has set the current fastest lap at the moment. He is on the intermediate tyres. He is on the freshest of the inter runners, I believe. Bartman is up the road. I'm just having a look at that gap. It's 20 seconds though between 6th and 5th of Front Racing DP and Bartman. I don't think that's a gap that DP will be bringing down anytime soon. Mr Hamilton 44 is running in 4th place. He's just coming out the pits, but so is the Ferrari. So yep, Overdye King has gone for the pits as Mr Hamilton 44 comes out on option tyres, and Bartman's been disqualified. So DP does get the position, and it is that stage of the race where it could happen. Penalties can be brought into consideration. Disqualifications can happen. You may end up getting too many warnings. Whoa, and Mr Hamilton 44 spun it out of the pits, front wing gone, long way back to the pits. That's 4th place gone for Mr Hamilton 44. That's gifting another place to Front Row Racing DP. What are these drivers thinking today? Had they not seen rain before? Every driver that has been out on the slick tyres has regretted it. Well, yeah. Looking back up at the front, have we got any closer? I think Kev187 is just taking his time, making sure he's getting this to the end at the moment, because his gap to the leader is just settling out at about 7 seconds. But just considering a question that you asked quite some time ago now, nearly 15 laps ago, was could these tyres go to the end of the race? And one of the things I said was if the conditions stayed the same, quite possibly, yeah. Now, one thing I haven't seen the guys on Inters doing is looking for wet patches. They can't have been overheating too much. They're not looking for the damp patches of the circuit, really. I mean, yes, there is a bit more of a drier line coming, but like I said, if the conditions stay damp enough, then yeah, these tyres can get to the end. And we've got a lap and a half to go. Lap and a half to, yeah, we have got a lap and a half to go. But I think that the front two now have got that comfortable enough gap that as long as they don't do anything too daft, then yeah, they can get these tyres to the end. Unless it starts getting absolutely dreadfully wet again, that these tyres cannot shift the water out of the way because they'll have lost a lot of their tread depth. Oh, Temp Fear was running a bit deep into that corner, but he gets around by the skin of his teeth. And that might have just woke him up a little bit after having a few laps out on his own, being a bit lonely there. I guess that's what he needed to do, just wake himself up a little bit as he goes underneath the grandstand onto the dry part of the circuit.
Well, what was it? Conzo was looking for 10th place.
Yep.
He's gained up to 5th place, so he'll be happy with that.
He will definitely be happy with that.
and his teammate behind him, so they'll be bringing in good points for their team.
That is true. That is good points. Now we're on to the last lap for Temp Fear and Kev 187. So talking about good points for their team, looking at the Constructors' Championship here in front of me, it is a bit of a gap to the Flaming Dragons Mercedes ahead of them, but I tell you what, it keeps them at bay from the Senson Williams Racing that's following them. So yeah, that will be good points for their team. But more than anything, the thing that I'm looking at is the drivers' order, because Konzo currently is ahead on circuit of GT5 King, his teammate, and he is in the constructors, so he's going to stretch out a bit of a gap over his teammate as well. But what is quite surprising is Bartman, they're both ahead of Bartman, and Bartman's been disqualified, unfortunately, so they'll both be putting out more gaps. So yeah, very good race so far for Team Freedom McLaren Honda. So we'll just have a little skip away from Temp Fear. Let's have a little look, see how far away Kev 187 is from the lead as Overdyking sets fastest lap on a set of intermediate tyres. Kev is 6.7 seconds away, so that gap has stayed about the same. It's Hammer Time 44 is currently running in third place. Front Racing DP is currently running in fourth, so yeah, Hammer Time 44 in third. And back to Temp Fear up at the front as he's going under the grandstand for one last time, gives the fans a little bit of a wave. Only a few more corners to go, and this is one race that Temp Fear will be, how do we put this, grateful that it'll be coming to an end, because it's been absolutely dreadful conditions for them. So here we go, Temp Fear, one corner to go. Singapore Grand Prix winner is Temp Fear, and in second place Kev 187, and that's something that Kev will be pleased with as well. So that's going to keep the top of the table extremely tight. It's Hammer Time 44 in third place there. Front Racing DP, that just goes to show that mistake that he made by putting on the wrong compound, how far away he is from the lead three. He's 1 minute 26 seconds behind the leader. That is a long way to go. So the race is still on for a few of these guys. So have a quick look further down. Overdyking in 8th place, GT5 King 6th, Konzo 5th. I tell you what, you know, Konzo 1993 is only 10 seconds behind Front Row Racing DP. So that is a very good race there from Konzo. I'm not sure whether he had any issues early on or whether he lost any wings at any point, but he'll be pleased with bagging a 5th position. So Front Racing DP now underneath the grandstand for that final time. So YouTubers, this is your time for our viewers to post any comments for our podium drivers, which Ray will be inviting into our chat room once we've got the clarification of the top three. So I do believe that the top three was Temp Fear in first, with Kev in second, and which Mr. Hamilton was it? It's Hammer Time.
It's Hammer Time.
Yep, it's Hammer Time was in third. So yes, any questions you wish to post to these guys, please do so. As there we see Temp Fear top step again, but not only has he gone top step, he's gone from pole position to top step.
Remember to put a hashtag or the at Ray or something, just so it sticks out for the comments.
Yes, that's right. If you're going to make a comment for the podium drivers, if you could put at Ray or hashtag Ray or something like that, and Ray can spot it a bit easier, there's more chance of your question being asked. So there we go then, plenty of penalties on the board. I mean, in these conditions I can completely understand it, to be fair, but a few drivers down there with DNFs. Mr. Hamilton 44 dropping a few places from his start position with 24 seconds worth of penalties as well. Ouch. So there we go, and it's time to get those drivers in. Start thinking of your questions, start sending them in with @Ray or hashtag Ray, And then the question for the podium drivers, as it was Temp Fear that was on top step who took the victory. We shall click onto his car there. I don't think we heard from Dan Evs, did we, during the event? I know, or did we say somebody said he crashed?
Yeah, somebody's it's Mr. Murphy said he'd crashed, and I might have a wee problem. Where? Oh, there he's there. Okay, got him. I've got a message I never seen come up, so I'll have a quick look at that. Danet's got the pit wall terminal damage.
Oh, he won't be happy, but he would have been the sort of race that he wasn't expecting to get to the end, but I know that he was desperate to try and get to the end. And yeah, there we go though. So we are joined by It's Hammer Time 44. Jimmy, hello Kev. Jimmy, I've got a bit of an echo. If you could just press mute or something for a moment.
Steve, I'm going to have to get off pretty sharp as soon as my bit's done, mate.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Kev, we'll come to you first. Great second place there. Any race comments from you?
Yeah, the whole lobby was weird.
Yeah, we did see a few things on screen that weren't quite right.
Carry on with temp.
I'll tell you what, Kev, if you've got to get off, don't worry, post some comments to us later on and we'll attach it to the race review on Facebook, mate. I think he's gone already.
No, I think he's got a phone call, I think.
Okay, so, have we got the top three in the chat party?
I think we do.
Yes, we do.
Okay, right. Now, before anyone says anything else, I just need it all to check, even if you've done it in the past, to make sure you've got your always set to allow to shut your... I can't speak. Your microphone settings always set. Sorry, set to always allowed. There, I'll get it out eventually, one week.
You're right, Maury.
With the update that was done yesterday, it might have unticked anything that you'd previously ticked, so just double check it even if you think you would have had it done anyway. So yeah, it's worth checking. So Temp Fear, hello, pole position, finally, big tick in the box there. So we can tick pole, we can tick pole position, we can tick race wins, we can tick podiums, which has obviously been done with race wins. What next?
Championship, that's the only thing now.
Is that the target then for this season?
It's got to be, really. I'm still in the fight.
It's got. I'll tell you what. You can't really. I wouldn't even say you're still in the fight. I mean, my maths are not great, but Kev coming second, you coming first. You're pretty much either 1 point ahead or 1 point behind, something around about there. So, not just in the fight, mate. You know, you're the #1 contender.
I was going to ask Kevin DP a question if DP was here, but it's fine.
It might be. I don't know whether he's left or not, but you'll be able to ask DP in a moment. But I just want to ask you about the first part of that race where you had Overdijking following you for lap after lap after lap. Now I described it as you're looking quite comfortable with a car following you, but how did it feel with a car following you for that many laps?
It was more a case, he was harassing me constantly and I was putting it away and then he'd close it back up, but more because I kept focusing on just keeping him behind. It's like when he, I think he damaged his front wing, I'm guessing.
He did at one point, yeah.
I mean, as soon as he pitted, I was flying again. It was just, right, keep the car behind. I've done it with Kev at Monaco. Just keep focused, concentrate, make no mistakes. I mean, just the few times he had a little go, but I managed to hold it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, at that point we were kind of like willing him to make a go because it looked like he was quite getting into that comfort zone of sitting there and following you and almost waiting for you to make a mistake. And I think he realised that he might be waiting for quite some time. So, well done and finished top step. We'll come back to you in a moment for a few more questions and for you to ask DP, and if Kev's still around, for you to ask Kev a question. Now, unless Kev butts in at this point, we will move on to DP. And he's not butt in. So,
What do you mean, DP? It's
Did I say?
44.
Oh, sorry. I was so sure that it was DP for a minute then. No, so you won't be able to ask DP a question. Not unless you actually... Tell you what, we'll do that actually. If you ask a question to DP now, there's a good chance he'll be watching the live stream. And he'll be able to answer it on the live stream. So what's the question?
To the pair of them, how seriously are they taking me now as a contender? Because I think they always said that they weren't too worried about the new guys coming through and they could do more practice, but like compared to what I saw last season anyway, I never saw the season before, they pulled away, but they haven't really done that this season. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question, and I tell you what, if Kev or DP don't get a chance to answer that while we're doing these, if they don't get a chance to answer on the live stream, then we will get that answer back to you, and we will comment on that for the next race as well, during the next race. But yeah, we'll come back to you in a moment. It's hammer time then.
Gents.
Oh, Kev, he is here. Jimmy, we'll come back to you in a minute. Yeah, Jimmy, Jimmy, Kev, Jimmy, hello, evening. Kev, well done with coming second. Any point during that, was you concerned?
Yeah, from turn 1.
You said it wasn't, the lobby didn't seem to be quite set right, or it just didn't seem to be quite right?
Yeah, I don't know, I was completely out of sync to everyone else. I was driving around on my own the whole race.
Interesting that you say that.
Turn 1, I got a jump start, went into turn 1 almost in first, and then Mr. Hamilton 44 outbraked himself and took me out. That put me down to, I think it was about 9th, but then I spun it, well I went deep into a corner, got back on track. Only 2 cars that were on my screen passed me, but I went down 6 places. And then I got round the next lap and it reverted itself. I was back up to about 8th or something, and I was overtaking people, but they weren't on the screen. I must have just been driving through them.
Well, when you watch the live stream,
the whole thing was weird.
Yeah, when you watch the live stream back at some point, you will realise that you were doing more than just overtaking them.
Right.
Yeah.
Felt like a few of them left.
No, not at all. I mean, to be honest with you, any collisions that I believe that happened between your cars and theirs, I don't think you saw any of it, and I don't think they saw any of it. But what we could see...
Right. Yeah, I definitely didn't hit anyone on my screen, apart from turn 1. Mr. Hamilton hit me, but that was it.
No, I mean, on our screen it looked like we had a female car and a male car going down the straight. Yeah. Well, anyway, because of the time of day it was, we had to move off your cars onto somebody else's. But anyway, Kev, very quickly, you'll be able to answer a question unless you heard it, and that is Temp Fear wanted to know whether you're taking him seriously now.
And DP's done a
And DP's what?
I think he said replied.
He's wrote a reply, I'll say it then.
Okay. So, are you and DP taking him serious?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, yeah, he's up there. He's winning races, so you've got to. Yeah, he's quick. No doubt about it.
Do you feel more under pressure this season than you ever have done before, other than from DP?
Yeah, there's more competition this season. Even more so when Stocky was here, but he's gone now. So yeah, it's a lot tighter. I mean, bloody hell, no disrespect to anyone else, but I think me and Dave used to out-qualify the majority by a lot, and now there's like the first 5-6 drivers are all within, I don't know, sometimes 6/10, half second or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's not very often that you and Dave can do a qualifying lap, think you've done a reasonable lap, and find yourself down in 4th or 5th.
Yeah. So,
but
it's a lot tougher.
That's what they've always wanted in this league.
Rains.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Kev, if you've got to get off, if you want to leave it there, mate, completely understand that. Appreciate your time.
I'm gonna see, but yeah, well done, Temp. It was a good win, that, mate. Well done, Hammer Time.
Well done, Kevin.
So, Jimmy, finally we'll get round to you. third place on the podium. I've got one question that's come straight to mind, and that is wheel or pad?
Pad.
Ooh. What made you stick with the pad again?
I'm comfortable with a pad at the minute, but I'm still getting used to the wheel.
Are you going to, at some point this season, go for the wheel, or are you going to go, do you know what, this season I'll stick with the pad?
Yeah, I was thinking that sticking this season for the pad, and that next season do it with a wheel.
Okay, well, I can understand you wanting to say that, or saying that, but I'll give you a bit of advice. If you want a good season next season, get on that wheel now, because you're not going to win the championship this season. You'd have to agree with that, wouldn't you? Because obviously you were a driver that came in and joined the league, your team, a little bit late because of a driver leaving. So because of that, you might as well get on the wheel, get used to it, enjoy the racing. If you get lucky, you might still get on the podium. You may not be up there for a win, but next season you'll be on the pace, and the only way you're going to get better is by being on it. So now me saying that, is it a consideration for you for next week?
Yeah, I consider it.
I'll tell you what, it is Suzuka next week, and it is a brilliant circuit to be on a wheel, and you will be disappointed, I think, if you realise how good a circuit that is, and you missed that chance. But you might as well. But was there any part of the race today where you thought, how have I ended up in third place?
Yeah, midway through the race, I saw like Kev, I couldn't even see him, and then he overtook me, and then I saw a collision between Mr. Hamilton 44 and my teammate Bartman. Don't know what happened, and then that gifted me a good chance to try and push up for a further positions, but Temp and Kev were too far ahead of me.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a gap there, but you know what, even with sort of saying all of that, you know, I think you had a good race there. You beat your teammate, you got on the podium, and at the moment I don't think you could have expected much more than that. So well done with your third place. Good.
Thank you.
Well done. Before we go back to Tamp Fiat, Ray, do we have any questions for the top three? Well, it's two now because Kev's not here.
Hypermoot, Temp, can I have your setup, please?
That's interesting because my setup was dodgy. I had about 4 or 5 Singapore setups saved, and it was a case of, right, which one do I go with? I'll try that one. Let's gamble.
Anyone want a brew? I don't know why somebody's asking that.
I'll have one.
Well, you better tell your missus. DP's reply to Temp's question. We said we look forward to the challenge. We take all competitors seriously.
There we go. So there's no competitors that they don't take seriously. That's why I coughed at that point, because I knew you were just about to say somebody's name. Swiftly moving on. He got to the end of the race, and I hope he's got all his footage intact this week, because one of the race director's notes, Ray, you've got them. What was the race director's notes?
I threw them in the bin.
You threw them in, that's how much you thought of them.
I already said them.
It said that there's no point in reporting drivers for missing footage if they did not complete the event. So there you go. Right. Ray, do you have any questions other than from off the YouTubers for these two that we've got here with us, or are we done?
How much are you sweating, Temp, after that race?
I got about to lap 22, and then my eyes just started watering up, and I was just like, no, this can't be happening. Not now. Not like piling it now. But
You know, if you close your visor and your helmet, it'll stop that.
I was just. It was just a case of right, bringing it home. Then Kev started clearing it in slowly, so they had to increase my pace again. But
I was going to say, if you used a wheel, you could always just drive one-handed while you're on the straight and wipe your eyes. You don't have to use a
I
pad.
did have it there, but
Yeah, just make sure it's the right-hand side that you let go of, yeah?
no.
There's quite a few drivers saying, well done, Pep. Great race.
Well, we shall finish on that one with these two, so thank you very much for talking to us on the podium. Great to see you both up here, and hopefully both of you will have a great race next week. So, thank you very much for joining us on the podium.
Thank you.
While they disappear off, Ray, I'm just interested in knowing if there was any other interesting comments on question of the day, or if there was any drivers out there that may have replied. And just to let anyone that's listening in at this stage, if they missed the question of the day earlier on, the question of the day was, it's Singapore, and Singapore fried vermicelli noodles are my favourite takeaway. What's your favourite takeaway? So there we go, simple question for this week. So yeah, Ray, do we have anything from drivers or questions or anything interesting?
Nobody commented on your question of the day.
Rubbish question,
I
I
feel
know.
sorry that I went for a king prawn curry instead of a haggis supper. I feel bad now. I'm not sticking to my Scottish roots. Right, from DP, well done, Temp. I predicted it well. Rain ruined a big part of that race. Took a gamble for the options. It did not work. Got to illegal overtakes. Well, you know what to do with them if you don't think they're right. Get them to the stewards or the race directors. So that was DP comments. Leanne's was brilliant points for McLaren. Yes, it was indeed. Two drivers beside, well, front and behind each other, not side by side, but I can't remember what position. Dom, he said they took a gamble and it didn't work out. Great win to Temp. Mr Hamilton 44 got a 5-second penalty for an illegal overtake on it's Hammer Time 44 when I was already in front, so we'd get that down to the race directors and they'll sort it out. And got a lot of penalties when having a damaged front wing and being on the wrong tyres. So
well, yeah, having penalties when you're on the wrong tyres and damage, yeah, it's one of those where it's kind of your own fault. But anyway, yeah.
Another one from DP, it's just come in. Need to find a little at Temp. Need to find a little time in the dry then. Well done, but rain did ruin that. Could have been a great battle. And they're just having a wee chat over the wet weather. Seems to be the talk of the race.
Well, at this point, as this is a event that Overdyking, as we know him, Dom, is probably not going to want to watch back. If he's watching and listening in now, we should probably let him know it was his missus that cursed him. Yes, Dom, it was your missus. Your missus cursed you. We asked who was likely to win out of Temp Fear and Overdyking when about half distance went by, and she cursed you. So there you go, Overdyking. It was your missus's fault. I'm not going to try and pronounce her name because I will probably say it wrong as well. Yeah, so Roto Chick, you're to blame. So thank you very much for everyone watching. We are Front Row Racing. That was Front Row Racing World Championship. If you are interested in joining Front Row Racing, come find us on Facebook. Send us a message and we shall explain to you how to get involved. Our next event is Front Row Racing World Series, which is the F1s tomorrow, which is at the same time. So yeah, come watch again, comment again, and tomorrow on commentary it will be Front Row Racing DP and I believe yourself as well, Ray.
Yes, of course, I'll be there.
Great stuff. I'll be on the grid, so please don't watch me. No, I'm joking.
You'll be on the wall, not on the grid.
I'll be on the pit wall, probably, yeah. Right, thank you very much to everyone, and I'm going to tie that up and wish everyone well, and see you all again soon. Good evening.